Welcome back to another explainer. So today we're doing something a little bit different. We are going to completely break down one seemingly straightforward infographic. And why? Because it actually uncovers how one of the absolute oldest industries in human history is evolving right before our very eyes.
Now, on the surface, you're looking at a bold, super colorful illustration of a person with a microphone. Pretty standard, right? But if you look beneath that, the specific icons, the text, the layout, it all reveals a profound shift in how we work. Literally every single pixel here was chosen deliberately to tell a story about the future of a massive global industry.
And that industry is AEC. That stands for Architecture, Engineering, and Construction. Now, when you hear those words, you probably picture, hard hats, muddy boots, giant steel cranes, maybe rolls of physical blueprints. It's an industry that has historically been defined by its physical presence. But as this visual declares loud and clear, its future looks radically different.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, unpacking the AEC future. Second, the digital workspace. Third, communicating data and growth. Fourth, the built environment. And finally, the travel lover lifestyle.
All right, Section 1, Unpacking the AEC Future, a visual dissection. Let's dive in.
So let's just inventory our puzzle pieces here. Right dead center, we have our human element, and she's equipped with this heavy-duty broadcasting microphone. Then we've got a digital gear hovering over a computer monitor, a speech bubble containing an upward trending bar chart, a cluster of modern buildings, and framing the whole bottom in big, bold letters, Travel Lover. Basically, these are the individual components we need to piece together.
Moving on to Section 2, the digital workspace. Gears and screens.
There is a really striking contrast going on here. Think about it. In the traditional AEC world, a gear is a physical, heavy piece of machinery, usually made of steel and covered in grease. But here, it's stylized. It's hovering effortlessly above a sleek desktop monitor. It perfectly illustrates this massive transition from physical mechanics to digital systems. We're talking things like building information modeling, digital twins, cloud-based project management, all that automated engineering software. The heavy lifting is increasingly happening entirely on screens.
We are looking at a deep dichotomy. On one side, you have this remote-friendly workspace, driven by virtual systems. And on the other, you have the historical reality of anchored on-site construction. The actual work of building is detaching from the physical site of the building itself. The foundation of modern architecture and engineering is no longer just poured concrete, right? It's code and software.
Section 3, Communicating Data and Growth, the Language of Success.
Now, this is super interesting. Why exactly is this upward trending data placed inside a speech bubble? I mean, it could have easily been drawn on a clipboard or, a second computer monitor, but it is explicitly framed as spoken communication.
That design choice honestly changes everything. It reveals that the future AEC professional isn't just some solitary number cruncher sitting in a dark room. No, they are central communicators. That broadcast quality microphone, it's for communicating this exact data. They're out there synthesizing incredibly complex digital information and articulating that narrative of growth to clients, teams, and stakeholders all around the world. Soft skills and data translation are literally becoming just as vital as structural engineering formulas.
Section 4, the built environment, the physical output.
Look tucked away into the bottom right corner. It's almost surprisingly small compared to all those digital tools and the central figure, right? But there it sits, a little cluster of buildings.
These structures serve as the ultimate anchor. They're a reminder that despite all the microphones, the monitors, the virtual systems, the end product of the architecture, engineering, and construction industry remains deeply, undeniably physical. Yet, the visual hierarchy here is super telling. The buildings are pushed way off to the side, while the digital worker and her communication tools dominate the absolute center of the frame. The physical structures are the output for sure, but the process of actually creating them has been completely digitized.
Section 5, The Travel Lover Lifestyle, the Human Element.
All right, the true disruption of this entire industry is grounded in just two words: travel lover. Think about it. Historically, if you built buildings, well, you had to be where the buildings were being built. You were tied to a local office, a local site, a very specific geographic footprint. Well, not anymore.
Let's see how this all builds into a complete profile. Step 1, you equip yourself with high-end digital communication tools. Step 2, you utilize a digital workspace where your engineering and your design happen right in the cloud. Step 3, you analyze and communicate your data-driven results remotely. And because you've mastered steps 1, 2, and 3, you unlock step 4, the totally location-independent travel lover lifestyle.
This professional can design a skyscraper in New York, coordinate with an engineering team over in London, and then present data to a client in Tokyo, literally all while sipping coffee and working from a cafe in Rome.
Which really just leaves us with this final, provocative thought. Does building the physical world actually require being tied to a physical location at all anymore? The evidence we've just unpacked suggests that the future of AEC isn't just about, cooler new materials or faster cranes. It's about untethering the architect, the engineer, and the manager from the literal ground they're building on. It is an absolutely incredible evolution, and it really makes you wonder, what other historically anchored industries are quietly going completely digital behind the scenes? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep your eyes open. The visual clues to our future are literally everywhere.